Not everyone accepts critiques in the same way. Someone critiqued may take a moment to consider if they agree or not, and if they do, then they'll look to implement it, or at least provide a very strong counter-argument for why they think it's not valid. This is the best case scenario, and what I generally try to do when talking to someone whose opinion I respect. It's not like this for everyone all the time though, not even for me. This becomes even less likely whenever someone's tilted. Some may disagree for a while, but eventually still change their gameplay. I have a couple examples for myself. 2-3 years ago, I was playing jungle and I was killing Herald. Someone in my Twitch chat said that I should dodge the Herald's main attack to avoid damage. Because I was already somewhat tilted from how the game was going, I said why would it matter, I'm healing on Warwick anyway. And from his perspective, it probably looks like I was completely brushing off what he said. And at the time, in a way I was. But after the fact, I did end up changing that. The next day, I was working on dodging the Herald auto attacks because I knew that it was something I actually did need to work on. Another example is when someone was coaching me on a top lane matchup. I was playing Garen into Malphite, and I was constantly trying to freeze in a situation where it actually was better to push the wave, because pushing the wave would make it to where Malphite has to use more mana to clear it. It would also give me more options in that particular game. The issue at the time was that I was so obsessed with the concept of freezing that I was not open at all to shoving. It took me months to eventually understand and come to agree with that coach back then. But probably from his perspective, I looked really stubborn because I could not comprehend whatsoever not freezing against Malphite. You can also see this behavior from some streamers like Tyler1. Tyler1 was a great example for this when he was doing his 5 roles to Challenger. He had to be particularly careful with what critiques he accepted because Twitch chat likes to troll. Every time he misses a cannon, -1 Keck W, fails a gank, they laugh at him. But sometimes there were genuine critiques. He may seem to brush it off during the stream because that's part of his persona, but also, as I said, Twitch chat can be obnoxious. But I guarantee you that he was mentally exploring the idea if he thought there was some value to it and intended to implement it in the future. If this wasn't the case, he wouldn't have improved so much over all 5 roles. He clearly was willing to be open-minded to a degree. Some people outright would not accept advice at all. It's not just initially, but ever. You can find this in Summoner School or sometimes in the comment section of my YouTube videos. They'll come up with the most outrageous reasons for why they cannot climb, and any advice that says they have to actually improve at the game, they won't accept it. However, others can be on the complete opposite of the spectrum. They'll accept things too quickly. They'll take absolutely everything that someone says as gospel. You can end up taking things far too literally. And that's how I ended up in my situation where I was obsessed with freezing, because I watched a lot of LS in previous years. Now, I'm not saying that LS was wrong or right in whatever particular instance. I'm just saying I took his advice too literally, instead of applying it properly for the given situation and weighing out all the variables. So you have to be careful. You do want to be a sponge when it comes to learning things, but you also want to be able to think for yourself. You need to be able to find a middle ground, but it does depend on your experience level a little bit. If you're extremely new, it's generally best to assume that you're wrong, be more like a very fresh sponge, absorb everything. Once you gain more experience though, then you can start to be more inquisitive about why things are the way they are. Don't jump straight into disagreeing over every little thing though. That's not you wanting to learn or be curious, that's just putting your ego in the way of your improvement. If it's over every single thing, because I've seen this before with a lot of students, that's a problem too. Speaking of, if you play top or jungle and are interested in getting coached by me, my information is in the description.